A guy from the knife community actually brought this company to my attention. It is a new company out of South Africa. And so far, I am very, very impressed with this knife. It is not only an attractive looking knife, but it is just extremely good all the way around. They have another blade shape. This is more of a spear point blade, but they do have one in more of a drop point blade with Elmax steel, stone washed finish with a nice slicey grind. It's not like super, super thin, but it's a nice broad blade that gets down, pretty thin behind the edge. Then we have a titanium frame lock with this good looking stone wash finish over the surface that should definitely help, resist scratches. Backspacer's titanium mill pocket clip that works very well, and it has this micro milling around the edge to create a little traction. The action is ridiculous. They did such a good job tuning this detent. I mean, the thumb stud action, the detent's obviously stronger there than it is the flipper tab, but great detent on the flipper tab, so you know it's going to be good on the thumb studs. The way they chamfered this edge, this is kind of the way I always talk about from other companies when they don't do this. I say you should do this with thumb studs because it helps give you like a track to go down to the stud, and it's just such a natural feel. It launches out there really good. You can, get the edge of this where you're not going right directly on top, you're going right towards the side, and you really have a lot of leverage to kick it out. And man, does it kick out. Then the drop, it's a guillotine, and it hasn't even really had time to break in like it would over, months. This thing is ridiculously smooth. Like I said, the flipper tab detent is really well done. No traction on the flipper tab, but it's not needed. It works really good, nice and comfortable. Now, if you listen to the detent, you can hear it's got a nice click to it. Ergonomically, perfect in my hand. I have a large size hand, and to me, it's very comfortable. This little ridge right here, my pointer finger seems to land mostly in that first groove, so I don't really land on it like this. I go right underneath it for my hand, and it works well. Your hand, may differ. Now, the access to the lock bar could be better, but it's also not bad. Like, there's no access, but it has, I don't know, the edge is kind of not sharp, but like, it's grippy to where you can easily, and it's because of the stone wash, so it actually makes it pretty easy to disengage without issue. But I usually prefer a little bit more access. The blade shape, man, with these ergonomics, phenomenal. This is going to be, you can even turn around and cut backwards if you really need to, but this forward grip, man, you feel like you can generate a lot of power. Gas station knife fighting grip's also really good. Nice little cap off spot. And like I said, this grind, it is going to be plenty slicey for people, but then also still hold a little bit of toughness for somebody who maybe doesn't want like a mega slicer because they don't want the risk of chipping a tip or an edge or anything like that. So far, I am very impressed with this guy. It's very minimal hardware too. The one thing though is it is T6. I wish these were T8s. It does have a T8 pivot. Steel lock bar insert and over travel stop, so you're not going to accidentally disengage or accidentally bend the lock bar over. Detent, or sorry, not detent. The stop pin's in a good place. It is riding on ceramic cage bearings with a ceramic detent ball. Now, for negatives, just some little nitpicks. One, sharpen, show, and plunge grind. You guys already knew that was coming because they did not give me anything. You get one good sharpening out of it, but you're going to hit the plunge grind pretty soon after the first sharpening, maybe, by the second one. So they did clear it, but not really. I prefer more distance from the edge, from the end of the plunge grind, not the beginning of the plunge grind, the end of the plunge grind. So, that makes it to where you have room, in between the plunge grind and the edge to sharpen so that you don't cut into the plunge grind when sharpening, because you're grinding steel off when you do that. Now, my next little nitpick, I already kind of said it. I wish there was a little bit more access to the lock bar. However, it's not bad. It is a very little nitpick. Other than that, you know, T6s, I wish they were T8s. It has a lot of milling on the inside. So, you know, it's, to me, it's pretty lightweight. I know some people, this is going to be heavy because it's a full-size titanium frame lock, but to me, this is no problem at all. This is, you know, to me, a great weight. I like the pivot collar, nice little accent of blue. And their pivot does look pretty cool with the helmet. The thumb studs. Now, this isn't really a nitpick, but because they are actually so comfortable because of this chamfer. So I actually really like these thumb studs. But typically, I'm not a fan with these little domes. They tend to be pokey. However, in this case, it's not at all. It's not like it's not like a Sabenza thumb stud or anything like that. You never even put your hand on top of it because it just doesn't, it's not natural with this knife. You really go right to the spot that is the most comfortable. And that's the way you're supposed to use these thumb studs anyways. And damn it, does it work well. Also with the reverse flick, and the detent is so crispy that all you gotta do is break that detent and it is flying. So all in all, I like this one quite a bit. I think these guys are going to have a bright future ahead of them if they stick to work like this. Like I said, these guys are out of South Africa, and if you look at it, you can kind of see that design influence. You know, South Africa kind of has its own little design influence that I've noticed, you know, for years and years. I've had a lot of South African customs on the channel. So, you know, I know that look. Now, it's not completely like that. It definitely has its own style, aside from a lot of the South African knife designs, because a lot of them are very, very similar. This one definitely has its own style, but I can still see, you know, the character of South Africa. So I do not have an affiliate link for this. However, these are being shipped from South Africa. Now, they are OEM'd over in China and designed in South Africa, but they do sell internationally. So you just have to translate, you know, the currency to whatever currency you use. But like I said, they do ship internationally. So, you know, you can find them pretty easily just by, you know, searching their name. If you guys like this type of content, I will put some cards up here on the screen for you to click on so you guys can check out some more knife videos, whether it's knife sharpening or any other EDC content. I have tons of EDC videos, including lots of knife videos. Like I said, knife sharpening, working on knives, and so on. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.